Hello to the women of Southwest Florida. Have you been thinking about starting a business, but maybe you're hesitating because you say to yourself, it's just too much competition out there. I don't know how I would measure up. Today, that's our topic. We're going to dive into how you can start or grow a business, even amid competition. So, what about competition? Why is it that we stop when we worry about the competition, when we think about there's too much competition? Well, I believe there's 3 myths that come up for us when we're starting a business, when we're growing a business, that get in our way and sometimes stop us from bringing our great ideas to our marketplace, to our community. So we're going to dive into those 3 myths today, and I'm going to tell you the truth about what's really happening in the world of competition for your growing business. The first myth is that I shouldn't even start a business if there's competition. I mean, who am I to try to compete with the big guys? You know, why would I even start if someone else is already out there doing the idea that I'm thinking about doing? Well, here's what you may not realize. Competition is evidence that there are customers and clients for your business, for the work that you want to do, for the way that you want to serve. You know, we don't always realize that. We often think that if I'm going to start something, I have to come up with something that no one's ever thought of before. But I like to think of this example. So imagine this. Let's say you're somebody who you love doing the dishes. Oh, I know, that's not me. It might not be you, but just play with me for a little bit. Let's say that when you do the dishes, you get this feeling of peace and control because you took this stack of dirty dishes and you made them clean and shiny. And you say, well, wow, I could teach this. You know, this is something that I'm really good at. This is something that it brings me a lot of joy. But you look around, say, well, there's no other dishwashing teaching schools. There's nobody else who's doing this. And the reason nobody's doing it is because there aren't buyers for it. There's not a client for it. There's not a customer for it. And, maybe if you worked really, really hard, you might find a couple people who are like you and like to wash the dishes. But the truth is, if there's not other businesses that are serving that same problem, that are serving that need, chances are it's not a viable business to begin with. So don't get all caught up in the fact that you think you have to be totally unique. You think that if anybody else is doing anything close to what you're doing, that there's no room for you in the marketplace, because that couldn't be further from the truth. In one of our earlier videos, we talked about that starting a business, really a business itself, is a way to solve a problem for a customer or a client. So, thinking about the problems that you solve, and the fact that other people are solving that problem does not mean that you're not meant to solve that problem too. Okay, the second myth. I really need to worry about my competition every single day, and I need to do everything better than they do. Have you ever had this feeling? If you've had that feeling, especially if you've started a business or you've been in a business or you've worked for somebody who talks like that, who really is like, oh, we always have to be better than the competition and do more and more and more, leave us a comment below. Tell us your story or just say hi. We'd like to know you're here. But worry and fear and stress are not really productive emotions when it comes to the work of starting and building a successful business. We talked about this a bit in the last video that I did. So if you didn't get to join us for that or watch the replay, make sure that after our video today, you go back and look at some of the past Building Blocks for Women's videos. Because I think this is a really important point, that when you worry about your competition, you're not really focused on what you can control, which is you and your decisions. Instead of worry, here's my recommendation. Trade that worry for curiosity. Instead of worrying and wondering and letting it stress you out, get really curious about what others are doing. Go buy from them. Yes, one of the best ways to really understand your competition is to put some money down. Hire them. Go to their store. Buy their product. Call their customer service. Get involved with them. Because it's a great way to learn more about what they're doing that might be different from how you want to do it. That might be unique. That maybe you want to do something similar because they've got that niche. They have that audience. They have a particular thing. Get curious. Meet their people. Often when I work with someone who is starting a business or growing a new line in an existing business, one of the things that I suggest is they go and actually talk to people who are doing the exact same thing. And I've had people say, Darcy, I can't just go and just talk to the competition. I can't just go and say, so tell me how you do what you do. My answer is, why not? Because the fact is that when we make connections with people who are doing things that are similar to what we do, that are in the same field, that are solving the same problem that we want to solve, we actually can support each other. And I think personally that women and women-owned businesses are great at this. We don't have to look through the lens of competition, meaning you lose and I win. We can look through the lens of cooperation, of how do we think about that there's enough of that problem out here in our community that we both can serve it, that we both can find the ways that we can make a difference. So exchange that worry about your competition for curiosity instead. A story for you. I had a client who wanted to start her own project management firm. And she talked to other people who were running project management firms. And she found that most of them were hiring staffs of people and building up these big cadres of people. And she got really discouraged because she said, I don't really want all the problems that go along with hiring and growing and paying a lot of different people. I just want to do my good work. And so we realized that she could choose a different model. But she didn't know that there was a possibility of choosing a different way to do her work until she started talking to her competition and understanding the way that a lot of people typically did the work in her industry. But then that helped her realize how she could make it look different for her and her clients and customers. So exchange that worry for curiosity. Go out, talk to the competition, engage your competition. Don't feel like they're distant and you can't get involved with them. Now, the third myth that we run into that stops us in our tracks when we're trying to start a business or grow a business is that we think the myth that other people are my competition. And you might say, well, of course, right? Other businesses are my competition. Well, let me tell you a secret. And this is happening more and more. Often, your biggest competition is you. It's the thoughts in your head that get in the way of you trying something new, of you reaching out and making an offer, of pricing your products and services in ways that reflect the true value of the problem that you solve. Anybody out there ever struggle with talking themselves out of doing something that they really know they should be doing for their business? investing in training, getting to a networking event and introducing ourselves and telling a little bit about why we're excited that we do what we do, or even just getting started. Too often, our biggest competition is ourself, the thoughts in our head, the beliefs that we have that tell us, no, but, no, we have to start believing in ourselves. We have to not let ourselves get in the way to be our own competition. And on this topic, I find increasingly for a lot of businesses, especially those of you who are starting and want to start a more service-oriented business, your biggest competition might be not another company, but your customer. Because they're getting in their head, they're questioning the need for your service. They are talking themselves out of it. The biggest competition for a lot of service-based businesses are their customer doing nothing and continuing to struggle with the problem that you have the gift to solve. I find this often in my work with individuals as a coach, as a mentor, that sometimes people just don't feel that they need the help, that they have the problem, they have the pain, but they think, well, I should be able to figure it out. Or, oh, well, I think there's stuff online that I can do that solves this. So my job, not only as a business person, but as somebody who I aim to serve, and that's how I sell, is to help them understand that it's okay to engage and solve this problem, that they're worth it, to help them get out of their head, to help them not be the competition to their success. Does that make sense? We can be the biggest competition, the biggest roadblock to moving ourselves forward in our businesses and in the things we want to do to grow our lives and our professional expertise and success. So, how about you? How will you get past all the myths that are out there about competition? How will you make sure that competition is not going to stop you from starting and growing your woman-owned business here in Southwest Florida? Okay, that's our conversation on competition today. What do you think? What's happened to you when you've thought about the competition? Which of these myths are relevant to you? Leave us a comment. Tell us your stories. We'd love to hear from you. Now, next week, we're going to dive more into finding your audience, your ideal customer, your ideal client. Because another part of not worrying about the competition is to know who you care about the most. And here's a secret. It can't be everybody. We're going to dive into that next week here on the Business Building Blocks for Women, sponsored by the Women's Foundation of Southwest Florida and financially supported by Comerica Bank. I'm Darcy Eikenberg. I'm honored to be with you here today. Ask us your questions, and we'll see you again soon here on our Facebook page. Bye for now.